Good morning. Hopefully this works out. We'll try it again. Always try. That's how we succeed, right? That's what they say. Anyway, last video, or one of them was talking about like points and stuff, and then we talked about some lines and line segments, the basic things. Still working on basics. Now we're going to talk about a few different types of line segments, or lines. Doesn't really matter. We got just one line. We've got just a line here. I'll draw it about right here. Going along, and we're going to identify 2 points so we can label it. So this one might be BC, and we'll make it a line. So we'll call that line BC. Something like that. It's not great, but that's line BC. And now, just one line, not all that interesting. It could be, I guess. But maybe I'm going to measure down 4 to 8. Put that there. 4 to 8. So each of those is what? 4 to 8 would be 4 inches. And if I measured real carefully and did this all nice and good, notice that this distance is the same as this distance, so that should be the same as that one, and everything else in the world, and they're all the same distance. And we got 2 points, and we might label that one D and E, just for the fun of it. You can label yours your own thing. Doesn't really matter. This distance is the same as this distance, is the same as this distance, and we measure that out to be 4 inches, and this is a certain type of line. Distance stays the same. This is important. Same. Kinda, we can get that idea. These are called parallel lines. They never touch. They kind of go the exact same way. So we got line BC, we got line DE, and we will write those. They are parallel lines. Hopefully I spelled that right. So we got line DE, we got line BC is parallel to line DE. And that's how that would work out. They don't touch, but we'll put that on our list of lines we're talking about. Parallel. I misspelled that a lot. Let me double check that later. Now sometimes the distance, usually the distance does change. So this distance is going to be different than this distance. And if that's the case, we're going to run along, run along. That one's touching there, that's touching there, and we'll call this one DE again. See, this distance is different than this distance, and then it's different all over the place. Every spot is going to be different, actually. So we got something interesting going on. These are just what we call intersecting. So if they run into each other, cross, touch, something like that, they're going to be intersecting. Now that's an angle. I forgot to highlight that. Let's do that. We got some angle here. This spread, how open or closed it is, that's an angle. We'll talk a lot more about that next video because angles are important. They just are, and they're fun. But if that angle, let's see if I can get this up. So we got an angle here, and if we keep doing it until we go, the angle can go from 0 all the way to 180. If we have a very specific angle and it runs here, and actually, if you notice, there's something interesting too about the distances. Here we really can't define the distance that it is along the way. We got some weird slope stuff and other things. But this angle is 90 degrees, and we mark that with this little symbol. So that little symbol means 90 degrees, which is called a right angle. Later on, we'll add some other stuff, pi over 2 radians. Don't worry about that just now, but good to have in the back of your head someday. And these are called perpendicular lines. And when we write that, we forgot to label on 2 lines. We got DE again, right? When we write that, we got line BC, whatever we use that for that. Perpendicular, that symbol means perpendicular to line DE, like so. So if I write that down, that means that they're perpendicular, which means that they intersect at 90 degrees, which is this right here. We use that a lot for certain types of triangles and other shapes. You see it all in the world. We just like things that intersect that way, like that, and it's useful. So we got perpendicular lines. Hopefully this marker doesn't give out before the video does. That would be tragic. Perpendicular lines. And then we've got one more. We don't see it as much, but you kind of need to know it because there'll be questions out there and it's useful to know. Now, it doesn't work in the plane set. It works in the three-dimensional space that is the world. And these are lines, so these two lines, if they're in space, are parallel. Here they're intersecting. Here they're at right angles. But there's a possibility that they might be something like so. It's hard to see. They're neither intersecting nor are they parallel, right? They never touch. Or technically, the weird term is they're in. These two may not touch. Like that. They're not intersecting or they're not parallel. And those would be skew. Only exist in spaces in 3 dimensions. And possibly higher ones too. None of the above. Not intersecting or parallel. Those are our main types of lines when we're talking about 2 or more. Well, let's hope I spelled that right. I'm sure I got it wrong. For some reason I always get that word wrong. But anyway, we got parallel, intersection, perpendicular, and every once in a blue moon you'll run into skew lines. Hopefully that's helpful. If you got any questions, I'll be around. Just holler. And been great. Awesome.